Hello, Aquarius. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Tarot Grand Lux by Cyril Marchetti. Website is usgamesinc.com if you're interested. Supportive Oracle cards, Magical Spell cards by Lucy Cavendish. Website on the back here is hayhouse.com. There's a little bit more information there. Feel free to freeze frame if you want it, of course. Oh, let me just drop that. That's the best way to do it. Okay. What do we have for Aquarius? Alright, what are you dealing with, though? It's going to come out well. Like one card is pushing out, so I will see if I hold on. Come out. Divine guidance. Okay, let's see where that goes. It seems like maybe you already know what you need to do with this situation, and maybe to you it's kind of like you know what you need to do, but you're like, well, I'm not looking to be a monster about it. You got the, is that the High Priestess? Yeah, High Priestess with the Ace of Wands. I get kind of like, I know what I need to do. I just don't want to come across that harsh. But I seem to know what needs to happen. I'm just trying to not be a complete tyrant about it, is what I keep getting. Kind of like, if it's a work situation, kind of like I know it needs to be done, and I can push it through quite fast, but that's gonna tick people off, and I'm gonna need to keep working with these people later, so that could become a long-term problem if I don't do this correctly. So I need to be a little bit more, how is this gonna work out in a way where I can make it start moving forward, do what I need to do, but try not to upset people that bad, but not waste my time talking about it for the rest of my life. It's time to move forward. Ironically, moving forward is very successful. You got the Six of Wands and literally the Success card. But other people don't seem to want to move forward with this Four of Cups. They don't want to do it. You know that. That's partly why this is an issue. People are calling this... Calling this? Calling this. They're calling it what? They're calling it a very stressful situation anyway. But they're calling it out in a different fashion. Other people are calling it out in a different fashion, but the way they're doing it, it's almost like they're trying to angle it like it, because of this, it should go that way. And you're like, no, it shouldn't. I don't know. It's almost like, you know, someone slipping and falling on the sidewalk and wanting to, like, sue the village for everything that they have. It's kind of like, well, all right, yeah, I mean, maybe they could have taken care of it a little bit better, but it doesn't mean we should destroy the whole town over it. Something like that. I feel like it's overdone. I think that's what it is. Because it's kind of like somebody slipping and falling on the sidewalk, and maybe they break their knee, which sounds horrible. And maybe, whatever, insurance reasons, maybe the town is a little bit liable for that. And you're kind of like, all right, well then having that taken care of and you know, having those bills for that and having that fixed, that makes sense. But like, you know, trying to sue the town for millions makes no sense. No sense. The energy is a little bit overdone here. Somebody's like, it's the Ten of Wands, but I do get like, somebody's like really over, it's like this, something went wrong and somebody's trying to correct a whole, it's like they're trying to correct their life with this one incident. Kind of like, oh, somebody did this to me, this is bad, and now they want to correct their whole life over the whole situation. You're like, no, that doesn't really work. You know, you broke your knee, that should be taken care of. But, you know, you can't have, you know, your filling fixed. You didn't hit your head. You didn't, you know, you broke your knee, but you didn't do anything to your face. You didn't hit your face on anything. And your filling was already broke before that. So you can't make the town pay for your filling, too. That wasn't a part of that issue. It seems like that, though. Somebody's, like, really, like, they're trying to get everything they can out of a situation, and you're like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't really work here. You know what the fair judgment is here. But for whatever reason, it's kind of like, I gotta be careful how I handle it. It's heavy. It is heavy, because it's kind of like, I know what's right and I know what's not, and I don't really like the fact that I have to pussyfoot around it, but I feel like I have to. Whatever it is, you feel like you're going to be labeled the bad guy for doing the right thing. But you know what? You can handle it. I do think you're right. I'm sorry. You might be labeled the bad guy for doing the right thing. Doesn't seem like that's fair, but that's why divine guidance popped out here with the Queen of Swords. What's right is what's right, and people may not like it, and you may end up, people may decide that you're the bad guy, but you're not really the bad guy. You're doing what's right. So, and I feel like that's what has to happen in this situation. You have to do what's right, and people are going to label you the bad guy. When push comes to shove, I don't feel like it's going to destroy your life or anything like that, because you got the Ace of Swords backing you up later, in the sense of like, people don't like it. But I feel like when the energy comes down, when the emotions come down, what you're doing makes literal sense. Like literal sense. If you look at it on paper, what you have to do makes literal sense. You tried to be as nice about as you could. You try to do what you can to make it not as harsh as it could be. But you did the right thing. And when the energy calms down, that will be more apparent. Some people will decide that they're just going to look at you like the bad guy, and that's it. Other people will kind of step back and go, not really. Aquarius really wasn't the bad guy. It's a weird, very political situation. It reminds me of politics in the sense of like, it doesn't matter what the truth is. It's being completely run on emotion. That's how that looks. I do see, like, as time passes, it seems very weird, but the Five of Swords is telling me it doesn't really damage anything for you. Because the people who matter will look at like the situation for what it was and that you actually did do the right thing. The people who just decide that you're the bad guy and that's how they're going to look at you that way, the only time they get any type of power is if you argue with them for whatever reason, because it seems to highlight that. And then anytime you argue with them, they're like, see, Aquarius is arguing with me. See how evil they are? See how horrible they are? See what type of monster Aquarius is? Like, they're arguing with me. I feel like that proves it. Doesn't it prove it? It doesn't. But I feel like less is more with that. Just detach from it. And then the people who actually matter, I'm getting, they really will kind of, they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to deal with the crybabies. I don't know if I should have said it that way, but it's pretty bad. Some people are just they're like, no, Aquarius is the bad guy Aquarius. Other people, they know that's not truth, but they don't want to deal with that any more than anybody else. So if you don't play into it and you just ignore it, what's going to happen in the long run is they're going to alienate the other people around them for not shutting up about it and moving on, and then that'll double back on them. If you do decide to argue with them, which I can understand standing your ground to make a point, I can understand like not letting somebody walk all over you, I get that, but I don't feel like arguing with this makes a point that's not already made with the right people. People who are accusing you of stuff are just shutting their ears to logic. It's not going to serve anything. You disconnecting and not wasting your time makes a huge impression on other people. Kind of like, you know what? Aquarius did the tough job. They did what they had to do. People don't like it, but they're also, Aquarius is moving on. Aquarius isn't dragging it out. Those people over there are dragging it out. The people dragging it out are going to annoy other people. It's going to have this weird effect going forward. The more you can disengage, afterwards, of course, the easier it gets for you. It may be quite challenging at times, because I feel like I don't like people accusing me of stuff that isn't true. But it's kind of like seeing it for what it is. Those people are making things up and other people know it. So we're just going to step away from it. We're not going to deal with it. Now, if people are coming towards you in a rational sense, like, all right, Aquarius, I saw this situation. I know you did the unpopular thing, but I also know you did it because it was the right thing. But then I'm hearing this other person say this. Is this true? And you're like, nope, that's just them upset. There's no merit for that. I never did anything like that. They're just angry and they just say things when they want to. Just because they're upset. There's no merit behind what they're saying. And then just keeping it simple, keeping it just kind of to the point, like, I don't know what to do with them. They just make stuff up at this point. They're so angry. And just leaving it at that, because I feel like the other person will go, like, all right, they'll go back to that other person, like, the Aquarius told me that doesn't really exist. Where are you getting this from? Where's your proof that this happened? Well, I just know. Aquarius is bad, and I just know it. Again, they're going to look like fools. It takes some time. It's a process. But it will go in your favor in the long run, especially if you're able to detach from it. I mean, you're very smart. You have a lot of energy. You can think things out. Just why waste your time on... It's not going to go anywhere good if you do. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's just going to... Yeah. All right. I think we're good. I'm going to let that go. All right. Thank you for watching. I hope that helps. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.